Group H match in pool play tonight. And we got a matchup between Jveth and SC Hitch. We'll just call him Hitch because that's what I've been told, so that's what we'll do. This actually is an important match tonight. They're both 0-2. They've got 2 matches left in pool play. They are technically, mathematically still in to move on in the tournament, but as much as anything, this is about pride, trying to get the first win of the tournament. So Jveth just PB'd today with a time just shy of sub 40. So he's riding a hot wave. They're both going magnet first, which is kind of
makes our lives easier.
Yeah, the last one I did was in Gemini versus Top, so it's very different to go again, to see the same pathway this time.
Yeah, it is good to see the Gemini route still a little bit alive. It's kind of that theme of you see people coming back to the game, so they're using the route they know.
Yeah, I agree with that fully.
And it's not bad.
So this is I think I've done Hitch likes running on Mondays apparently, and I think I've done nothing but Hitch matches. So he PB'd I think on the first one we did, and then he didn't have quite as successful a second one. So let's hope he comes out well today and does another PB while I'm doing the commentary.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long Hitch has actually been running the game. He's been a regular in my chat for a little bit now, but beyond that, don't really know his speedrunning resume.
I think he was one where it's wait a minute, he puts a little bit of work on it. He can be good at it because his slide chaining was really good. Someone I could tell was learning and just needed experience with the game. That's as a speedrunner, you can tell that kind of thing. Oh wow, he's really good at this, but he's not experienced in it yet, and you can get really good at it.
Yeah, I think Lack Attack likes to say you pointed out he had good combat in Zelda 1 for a while.
Yeah, I could tell.
He got close to sub 30.
Yeah, well, that was when he was getting 35s. It was wow, he was the first one where I was worried that he would, beat my time, and obviously that was correct, but... Magnet Man, why is he first? I mean, we talk about this probably on every stream, but, just as a reminder for everybody, why is Magnet a popular one to use?
Magnet, kind of popular. He's relatively easy to avoid, although when you're crashing into him to go fast, as Jveth is showing here, sometimes gets a little harder to avoid him. He also takes 2 points of damage per buster shot, which definitely helps make things a little faster. I think it's Magnet and Top that take 2 points of damage from the buster. Everybody else only takes 1.
Yeah. So we talked about that in the last race, where that's one of the reasons Top and Magnet were always so popular, is because they're easier to kill with Buster.
Yeah, Gemini first works as a route because there are 2 Gemini men on the screen.
Yeah,
that's
for half the fight.
Yeah. You have to kind of know how he works to get the damage in quickly.
So can't remember, I know I did your Darkman match, but they all kind of blend together. What path did you use for the tournament?
Magnet Man.
I'm very familiar with this route. Did you do the coil strat here, or did you just despawn them?
Oh, I was using the coil strat. I've heard a lot of commentators talk about the magnet strat for taking out the bees being kind of tricky. There's a little timing to it, but there's a rhythm, and once you get used to it, I don't think it's that hard. Honestly, the worst thing about it is you can only miss 1 shot against Hardman and still have enough magnets to finish the fight.
Is that a fearful thing, or is this not something? Well, it just happens, and you'll just have to deal with it if it happens.
You're a little fearful of it, but you just deal with it. Most of that fight, you just need to not shoot the magnets as quickly as you might in another route.
Seeing that a little bit in the last race, where there was kind of spamming of magnet missiles, which Richard and I both kind of saw and was kind of wondering about, because magnets take up a lot of ammo quickly.
Yeah, I saw that too. I think that was a Meteor Wave who was firing them off like crazy.
Yeah, it was okay in the end because he had extra, and it didn't really matter in the end, and he could. But that's kind of thing, if you're doing this route, you can't really do.
Right. Although if you don't use the magnets on the bees, and I think they both did the despawn strategy at the beginning of the stage. Loaded with magnets right now. And they're Hitch missing a couple of them.
Yeah, this match is kind of cool because they're similar in race PBs in the tournament so far. So it's in that regard, it's a pretty even match, even though Jveth did PB like a few hours ago. I saw him, I think. So it's really, and he had the death to magnet, so he's kind of behind a bit. He's the favorite, but it's not like some of the other matches where it's like a 10-minute difference. This is a much smaller difference between the two.
Yeah, kind of two mid-40s PBs at this point. So it's really anybody's game, because when you're up there, you're in this tournament, you're kind of working on cutting deaths out of the run more than anything.
Yeah.
So we're looking to see who can basically put together the run.
We don't expect, this to be the Hitch to just run away with this now, even though Jveth had a death, because, there's a much wider range of things that can happen that can change the standings. Like even in your match, you guys were 37s, 38s, and there was like 6, 7, 8 lead changes throughout the entirety of the match.
Oh man, I'm trying to forget that match.
Yeah, I hated on it, so yeah, sorry.
But yeah, that was one of those matches, even in the 38-39 range, where there were just deaths at every turn, full minute lead changes.
See, if you saw that particular cat fight by Hitch, he's a really good masher.
Let's see this again. He's good at mashing, but he's also throwing a lot of magnets away.
Yes. Yeah.
Not something you generally care about. I know magnet is kind of a weapon you want to hold on to, but looks like he's going to switch to Buster early anyway. There's something to like just weapon management, and I think that's one of the few cases in the game where you're thinking, all right, 5 magnets, that's all I'm firing. And he's got the extra like 6 and 7 going off the screen.
We saw both racers in the past race go for those that 1 second, skip that one top, and they both died during the race. So that's such a seemingly dangerous thing to do in a tournament race, is just go for that particular skip. Let's see what Jveth does here.
Yeah. Last race, kind of proving fortune not necessarily favoring the bold, but
yeah. See, Jveth is taking his time here, which, you lose a couple seconds, but you gain the peace of mind knowing you're not going to die.
Definitely.
They don't seem to be doing any major mistakes outside of what for their time, although there's kind of a missed hard hit there.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that easy to get the 4-hit cycle in on Top Man, but Jveth manages it.
Same thing, that was pretty good, because he missed that first hard knuckle.
Yeah. It's not a hard knuckle you want to miss. I mean, you can get that 4-hit cycle, but it's tight. You want to get the extra damage in sooner anyway. Just a little extra time for Hitch to work with now.
This is something I've never done in any of the runs I do. How much different is mashing compared to jump mashing?
Mashing on the ground, it's a lot easier to do because, obviously you don't have to worry about the A button. Even if you take a small hop, you're still very likely to connect. You can also kind of go and double mash on the ground if you really want to. Let go of the D-pad and start worrying about that. Once you're in the air, that B button is in a whole different location depending on how you're gripping the controller.
Change your grip when you're jump mashing?
Rarely. I think the whales in Mega Man 4 is the only time I have to do that.
Oh, okay.
I otherwise kind of
I'm completely foreign to do stuff like that.
Yeah, like the whales, it's kind of like a mid-boss that's up in the air. So like kind of like the cats.
Yeah.
And most of the other things in this game, I think you can get away with being on the ground when you're mashing, or otherwise at least not jumping.
What I can think of is, you've got the Proto Man fights. You got to be up in the somewhat.
True. The Proto Man fights, it's also kind of jump. It's a smaller hitbox. Jveth catching a drop at the end of that slide.
Yeah.
Oh.
That one because it's not that's really hard because you can jump out of that, but you have that stop period that you just have to get used to the timing on, and that's really hard to learn. Right? Is you have that huge. You can deal with it with the small drops because it's a small delay, but that big delay, it's got to be huge.
The small drops, I would say, are almost worse. Like the large drops, you have like the time to kind of react and realize, oh no, I got a drop. And the longer it's filling up, the more you can kind of react to hold left and get back onto the ground. Although I'm not sure if he was too far off the platform for that. He, I think, tried to jump out of it still because he was still moving to the right when he came out.
That's what I saw. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Ugh. In that sense, would you just mash it and try to jump out of it? But that you're doing a short hop at that point, aren't you?
I'd probably be holding left to try and break the slide and hope I was still on the ground. Maybe mashing jump. It would be panicking. It's kind of hard to sit here. Nice zip from Hitch.
Nice.
Oh,
that's not something I'd expect from someone with like a 45 or 40. I can't remember what his exact PB is right now.
But even if it's about a 45, the one thing about that zip is it's one of those things that's free to go for. You don't really lose any time going for it and missing it. So it could be that he just got lucky, but I'd like to think he's been working on that.
When I've done some of the matches with people with PBs in that range, they don't even go for it. So it was nice. I was surprised to see that. That was nice.
The question, he's going to the top blocks. Scaring me with one of those early jumps.
Not doing, which I guess is okay in this. If you're not sliding, wouldn't it be better just to use Marine at this point?
That's something I've not gone into the measurements for myself. There's a few platforms that are very safe to slide completely off of. So you would think those are the platforms you want to kind of go for it anyway. Otherwise, walking up top, just really dangerous. Maybe it's something you want to do to get used to it so that when you do go for the one block slides later, you already kind of know what you're dealing with. Hitch going for that jump over the hopper with no buffer shots.
He delayed a bit. I think he was hoping that would be enough, but he's got the E-tank, I guess, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. If you're planning on using that E-tank anyway,
yeah,
do it. Jveth is going one tile slides.
Yeah. Ooh. That's not a game over, I hope.
Oh.
Oh, man.
He has been taking a lot of deaths.
Yeah, I was thinking. So Hitch doing really well so far.
Hitch is now way out in front. Has he taken any deaths yet?
He hasn't.
Yeah. He hasn't. Step one to going fast. Don't die.
Yeah.
There is a 1-up that's sitting there in the water, but if you don't have Rush Marine out, you generally never get it.
Yeah.
He did take a dive to get the E-tank, which he now has, so he'll have an extra E-tank later, assuming he gets both again.
But so everything respawn, but you don't keep. I thought you didn't keep some of your stuff, and then he misses the. Ugh.
Yeah, he slid very early to try and go for that. So he's going to have music to deal with. He might be well served to just call on Rush here.
Although, that affects your timing a lot, doesn't it? Having the music as opposed to not having it, right? Especially on that single block area.
Things get a little messy, and honestly, I'm going by Fasad CC's commentary on that room. Once the music's there, you can still do it, but you better be used to having the music there.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Hitch is having a pretty decent Needleman stage while we're talking about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Needleman is Friedel, right? So that's not quite as interesting as Gemini. Gemini Man is such an interesting speedrun stage.
It really is.
Everything that's in it. Everything that's in it.
So Jveth called on Rush very far to the left. Just going to affect the weapon energy here.
Got a drop, so that'll help.
Yeah, some people have commented on if you don't know what you're doing with Rush here, this can actually be deceptively dangerous. He's actually taking a lot of damage here as well.
Yeah.
He's going to use this E-Tank, which means Rush Marine's not going to be there when he unpauses, by the way. He can't get back in. Rush Marine needs to land on the ground for that to work. He's on one tile slide. Why?
I did. I saw that. That's amazing.
Why? Well, he's through.
I does weird things to people, I'll tell you. There's the buffer shots.
I think I only saw one, but he got over anyway. All that matters. He just wants to get out of this stage and never see it again.
Yeah, I agree.
He's trying to pummel the one Gemini man. He's taking a lot of damage, but does jump over, so that should be fine.
In your race, did you have your opponents up?
Yes, and looking back, that's probably why I lost, because Darkman was not watching me.
Okay. Because that's something that I always find as kind of race theory, which I like to bring up in the commentaries on how, how that affects your gameplay and if you want to do it or not. How that affects your strats and what you do and that kind of thing. Like if Hitch is watching, doesn't he just play very comfortably at this point?
It always kind of depends on the situation. I would think you're right. Based on what we were saying, like they're kind of fighting to stay mathematically alive. It seems unlikely they'll advance, so there's a lot less pressure on them. As opposed to kind of the me and Darkman situation where I knew loser goes home. So and we were at very similar skill levels.
To be fair, this is probably their best chance to get a win.
Definitely.
In the tournament, you don't want to go over in the tournament.
You don't want to go over.
Yeah. So.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important. If if I was given the choice between this kind of match, a commentator, or a different, this is one I'd love to. And why I'm glad I'm doing it. Just a match like this, just like the psychology of it. Why did you feel it was a detriment to watching Darkman?
Well, just looking back on it now. Once I knew I had the lead and then knew, oh man, I can't lose this now. So that just put more pressure on me. And that time I didn't take it very well.
Alright. This is different in this case because there is no real true pressure,
Right. This is kind of no pressure. You're going to get that win. Obviously, like you said, you don't want to go over the tournament. So you do want to get this, and this is probably their best chance. But the consequence of losing is a little lesser. They do a laser, but it finds its way home anyway.
Yep. We had a lot of that in the last match where they found the way home, and then two didn't, which it was bad for Andy.
There was like
4
or 5 Nadua lasers in that fight.
Yeah. And most of them hit home. That was the funny thing. On the last bounce too. And that helpful. I didn't notice this when I played this game as a kid, but I see the basement war and then the first floor on Sparkman. I love those types of touches that are in this game. I love Sparkman stage because they put the little gears in where they would go in the background. I always loved that as well.
That stage has some detail.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I'm surprised it doesn't lag as much as it does.
Somehow, Sparkman stage was made better than Gemini Man stage. Gemini Man stage, if you check Cutting Room Floor, notably has like a giant floating Saturn somewhere in the background that you never actually see in the game. It's just covered up by everything else. Hitch is having a pretty good Sparkman stage right now.
Yeah. I mean, he came to play using some sports cliches, huh?
Yep. He's got his strats. He's using them. He's taking out these lag blocks. Let's see if he takes care of this last room. This room, I saw Rush for a moment there. It's just a mismenuing. This room kind of is one of those rooms that you say it's easier to speedrun than it is to just play casually. Mm-hmm. Although that wasn't exactly the speedrun strat, but okay.
Yeah. It was nervous of what it was. How many nervous rooms are there in this run?
Well, Jveth is making one nervous jump right now. Granted, that one is already... That's right by the checkpoint in the stage, so missing it is not nearly as costly.
how
Yep.
many like nervous rooms would you think are in this game?
Now you're gonna make me think of the entire game for a minute here. So you've got the Shadow Man parachute screens, both of them. You've got really the entire second half of Doc Needle, because a death anywhere out there leaves you with half your rush jet ammo and a lot of time lost. You've got the single tile block screens on Gemini, first screens of Gemini. There's just so many.
Sub 20. Well, this screen right here that Hitch is going to. Sub 20, probably a PB for him for the 8 robots.
Probably. I don't have his stream open to see his splits by themselves.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't. My computer doesn't allow that. So.
Oh,
well, another victim claimed. I was in the commentaries I've done. It's probably been close to about 60% of people that have a death in Doc Gemini first screen. It's that high.
That's not the one that's been catching me in general. It's one of the little mice enemies a little later.
Anywhere in this screen is kind of what I've been looking at. But anyway, this is such a hard screen.
Yeah. It's this mouse that's going to come up right there that Hitch managed to jump over. That one tends to get underneath magnets, and you land right on him, and it turns out Mega Man is not Mario. Stomping them does nothing.
He's down to less than a stage. Oh, less than a stage behind now, I think. Although Spark is pretty easy or quick, so.
Maybe less than a stage technically, but it's still roughly one stage. Hitch is going to try and go the top route here.
I found that seems like a new strat recently.
I'm glad that got perfected, because I was always kind of going up there saying, you know, if I go up top, I can take out these floating things. It feels nicer, although it's a little tricky to execute. Getting all the way up top is probably what really sells it, so you only have to take out a few of the tadpole eggs. It's a good Doc Flash kill from Hitch. Lots of life left.
Hitting Hitch just jets the whole section here.
Probably. Yeah, once you stay low. I think it's maybe 2 seconds faster to stay low than it is to go up top here on very crude stopwatch and 3DS testing. That jump is actually pretty tricky.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, you're stuck basically with all 3 of them making it over.
Like, it's always also interesting to me what people try to learn for a tournament setting, what kind of strats, how hard a strat you go for. We saw Meteor Wave do a lot of stuff that people don't do in general speedruns. He was using Gemini Laser a lot more. He's doing a lot of other things that people generally don't do. It's kind of interesting to see the strats that he was learning for this tournament. Hitch is like...
one of the best things about these tournaments is you start seeing players come in that you wouldn't normally see play a game, and they take the strats that they knew growing up with them.
Yeah.
So even if they don't know the full run, Jveth meeting one of those mice, they just come in that it's like, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that would work, or you didn't even know something was weak against another weapon.
And it's not even like they're losing a little bit of time over the best strat, but not like not doing a strat at all. It still saves time over not doing a strat at all, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's really kind of... That's why I love doing these types of matches, just to see what's... That's why I really loved watching the Big 20, the ones who just didn't spend as much time on it. Gears right there. I just love... I love when they match things like that.
I just like that they actually put Metal Man in the stage with the gears.
You know, I think they do a really good job of kind of matching the MM2 bosses to the stage.
Trying to think through all of them.
These are done pretty well too.
Yeah, you're right. So
Magnet missile to be, you know, weak or to be strong against Metal Man. You know.
Well, it's funny because usually I'm here kind of making the joke that I like the Game Boy games. Game Boy Mega Man 2 features both of those robot masters, and you end up actually using Metal Man's weapon on Magnet Man.
Okay.
So it's a weird juxtaposition. They see it here. It goes the other way.
Interesting.
Jveth also taking Rush underneath. This screen, I always feel a little more worried about that lag block, just because it can drop something, but Schitch actually holds up a moment to see what happens.
Yeah. Knows where he is in regards to his opponent, so that might be just a safe thing.
Could be.
Alright, this is an easy fight. He's had a couple... Oh, that's not a good
not
start.
that easy if you get bodied. He's in trouble. Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't E-Tank.
Might be good to come in here and start with the full life meter and see what happens from there. Might feel a little more comfortable coming in with a full complement of health before using an E-Tank.
How manipulable is Quick Man? How manipulable is Quick Man? Can you affect his movements pretty easily?
I don't feel like you really can. It's more of a question for Fasta. I feel like it's not too hard to dodge him enough that you can always get hit by the boomerangs, though. And that's what you want to do to try and protect your health in that fight.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. They both got it? Or...
Okay.
So one of them has it.
Shadow.
Schitch has it. Nice.
Good. I didn't see if Jveth was going as much for it. It looks more laggy though to me. But
I don't think he really went for it.
Yeah, alright.
Saw him kind of do a slide and jump into there. Schitch is just going to ride Rush Jet over this anyway. So, certainly the safer option. Slightly slower as always, just because of where can you work in one more slide. That, and I'm pretty sure Rush Jet just causes a whole lot of lag. It's actually worth it to get off of Rush as soon as you get over solid ground on the other side, just to get him off the screen. Jveth actually slid really close to Doc Wood here. I think from what you were saying earlier, Woodman is the only one that kind of almost doesn't have a home. Although if you want to go to Shadow Man's a ninja, maybe there's a wood thing in here. That's all I've got.
That's true.
Jveth catching one more drop. He's catching a lot of drops, I think, and he's still going to slide. This is like we saw earlier when he went for the one-tile slide, despite just using Rush Marine and taking a death.
Once you get out of your rhythm, it's really hard to get it back in any speed game, and it makes it much riskier to continue the hard strat.
Very true.
Ooh, Schitch barely made that.
Yeah, Schitch is out of Magnet here.
Nice. That's strat there. I like what he did there.
Trying to figure out what to do about the missile launcher here.
Yeah. I wonder if it can be I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if top works on it. I feel like it doesn't.
Alright. Heat Man.
Yep, the lava floor. Heat Man's right at home.
30. 60, I think.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh, man!
1 hit point.
Wow!
When he
if I were to ask, like, did you know you had enough to take another hit?
I don't know if he knew. I mean, it's possible to know how much damage you're going to take, but in the heat of battle like that, pun not intended.
Oh, darn, I wish it was intended.
Yeah, now I wish it was too, but...
See, we were talking about this earlier. This particular room is a little bit difficult, the one that Jveth's in right now. If you don't get the coil correct, it can cause a lot of problems.
Did he start with coil and then... Yeah, he started, I guess, with it and then resorted to rush.
Yeah.
That's just an awkward room to deal with.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of beam rush coil into the wall, which Hitch is doing right now, though he's getting that missile in his face. Jveth has an interesting health total left here. He's through, though.
The E-Tank that Hitch got. Oh, he still got a bunch, though. So he's good there. Watching, they're not this close as it might imagine, because Hitch has sparked down already. Dark Spark.
Yep.
So... And Hitch holding himself up pretty well. I mean, his deaths that he's had are minor deaths, like to the boss. And
you know, the one to Doc Quick, you almost expect newer runners to die to Doc Quick at least once. Yeah. And I'm still not sold on it not being entirely unintentional. He was probably in that range of not wanting to use an E-Tank and not thinking he could win the fight and just trying it.
So there's a good one there. Play Hitch.
Jveth is through to the big Mets. Making short work of him with the snakes.
I know fast and slides there. I guess 9 is what you really should be going for as anybody that's not really the top 5, 6 runners.
9
games on that one room instead of 10. Shortly, like this room here that Hitch is going into. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Immediately tries to jump up and takes out one of the Mets at least, which is good.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the lag from them. Jveth's firing these hard knuckles a little early.
Not an easy fight to learn, I think. The Crash Man fight with Hard Man. I don't know what his other weakness is right offhand.
I forget what it is.
But it's 7 hits rather than 4 of the hard knuckle.
Yeah. The hard knuckle, I mean, you kind of come into this fight just expecting to get hit, and if you do it right, you'll be able to hit him twice at least. Once on the way up, once on the way down. Basically hitting him at melee range.
That's a very safe the Hitch did that I've heard people have been doing, is just staying on the ground rather than jumping. Or jumping to get it and then firing on the ground. Seems to work.
As long as the shot's off before he's back on the ground, he's not going to jump again. So are you a believer in the Brakeman split?
Call for it every time.
32-15.
If nothing else, just to be a contrarian to Facet CC, but, you know, I have no problem with having a split there. Shows you how well you did that fight.
And I'm not sure if you have a preferred acronym for what IBN truly stands for.
Go ahead.
I've still just been plugging intra-buster nanomachines, because I don't know what else to call it.
Because that is kind of not... It's probably way out of date now.
Yeah, I mean, the buster's a little old at this point. Need some upgrades.
Got nothing but bad turtles. I think we got maybe one right pattern in the last race we did, so maybe luck should even out and both of these guys have good turtles.
I think Fasta had some like early record attempts, and he was getting into a situation where the run was kind of meh. He was behind by 10 seconds, and then he got the best turtle pattern and PB'd by 3 seconds.
Yeah, that was always a pain to run against.
The only good thing about those is you had bad splits going that far in.
Yeah.
Hitch is using the buster here to try and save some magnets, I guess.
Yeah. Reload too. Oh, he is going to E-Tank. Jveth. I was wondering about that. And he got bodied immediately, so that's probably a good decision.
Yeah, he saw Doc Quick coming for him.
Okay. I'm really surprised when anybody doesn't use top here and uses shadow instead. That's a bad turtle. The worst turtle.
Oof. So shadow is on the same menu page as Rush Jet, which is probably its biggest advantage. It's only one button press to get over to it. You can also fire it up a little quickly if you can read the turtles properly. But topspin is just so much easier to use.
Yeah. You're pretty much immune from damage almost.
Almost. You still don't want to jump into the Kamegoro itself. I'm not as familiar with the soft lock. Hitch having some fun on the platforms here. That looked like a Simpsons routine.
Yeah.
Hup, oh, hup.
But he's one full stage ahead now. He's maintaining his lead.
Yeah, let's see how he handles this. I want to see. He's not going for any 2-tile slides. But he's taking out the bees.
That's a tough one. That's good. That part seems deceptively scary.
It's actually a lot less scary than it usually appears to be. Just don't get bees at all. Don't fall in those spikes. And
We
everything
had
will
some
be
of
okay.
those spikes earlier. I can't remember which one of our racers last time did, but we had a death.
Did we lose Hitch? I think he's coming back slowly.
Yeah, I see him on Yellow
Okay.
Devil. So
Okay.
We had a successful easy earlier.
And one easy devil, one slightly more difficult devil.
It looks like he's going.
He's in the right position.
Yeah.
Well, he's still got a good amount of damage in.
Yeah, he didn't get the second jump off.
Yeah. When you're first learning this fight, because I was in this situation for a very long time, it's still good to go for it and just start understanding it, and you'll get a lot of damage in. You can usually finish him in 2 cycles.
Wow. I think Jveth got all best turtles.
I wasn't really looking at the turtle fight.
Yeah, I think he got nothing but good turtle. Got the best turtle on every one. You'd have to somebody go to the tape and look at that. I think he got nothing but perfect turtles.
Hitch did have a pretty good second cycle. He was not looking the right way, but he took care of it. But he's in the KLM room now.
Why is it the KLM room?
KLM in this tournament was probably in that room a good 30 seconds. Not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
And just never changed strategies, just insisted on rush coiling through the shots. Hitch only having the one mishap before deciding to shoot the shower. Jveth, I don't know if he has an easy double up his sleeve. He could get 20 seconds back right here if he does. Hitch in the... I don't know what to call this room besides the Frogger room.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah.
Probably picked it up from you. It's a good name.
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of is Frogger, so... I'm old like...
Jveth actually doing about as much damage as Hitch did to the devil.
He got the second, but he didn't... I don't know if his mashing was up to snuff there.
Mashing
Obviously.
wasn't quite right. Might also be a situation where he's just not jumping soon enough. He's going to try and stand outside and take care of it. And he does. Hitch is leaving little pieces of time here and there for Jveth, but nothing nearly enough for a huge comeback yet.
See you in refights.
So the big thing, now that I say that, is I didn't see how many lives Hitch has. He has 2 lives and apparently decided to use an E-Tank even before going into Snake Man's room.
Good, he should be fine throughout the refight so long as he doesn't soft lock, right?
Yeah, Snake Man, I mean, you take a lot of damage in the first half of the stage. And then Snake Man himself, you're likely to take a few hits. That's what makes Shadow second pretty scary sometimes. I know you were talking about that in the last race too. Since whenever you go to hit Shadow Man with a topspin, you are going to take contact damage most of the time. Jveth's scaring me with some of these jumps. But with that E-Tank, Schitch should be fine.
That was like right near when he started to spin. And he didn't do the semi-pause for a while.
Jveth went for the pause strat and didn't... I think he paused too late. So it never really connected. But you can hit the clone with top spin directly, and that works just as well. Pitch is through to Gemini Man, so don't soft lock. The fact that Gemini Man jumped the laser means even if it had connected really at that point, it was okay.
I don't know quite how that works, so you might have to explain that a little bit.
When the fight starts, I believe there's 2 separate Gemini Man, and once you take one of them out, the game actually substitutes in a 3rd Gemini Man. But one of those 2 needs to still be alive for that to happen. So if you manage to kill both of them before that 3rd one comes in, you're done. I think that's how it works.
Soft lock is something you don't want to happen. It's where you kind of frozen in the game and you can't do anything. You can still move around, as opposed to a hard lock, which basically the game freezes.
Yeah, soft lock is basically any situation where you cannot proceed in the game, even though the game itself hasn't frozen, you're not dead, you're not getting a game over or anything, just nothing's happening.
Oh, man.
Jveth. Clutching out that top man refight.
Yeah.
He's already done with 3 refights.
Yeah, he's just burning through these next few areas here.
Moving with
I don't know
purpose.
if it's enough, but yeah.
So he needs some help from the Wily machine here. I mean, something bad needs to happen to Schitch, and honestly, using the Spark Jet strategy, nothing bad's going to happen. Well, nothing is a little premature to say, but it's much more difficult. When I was kind of caveating what I was saying earlier, it's not the jumping on the ground, mashing versus not having to jump. Well, there's flying on Rush Jet and mashing.
This is going to be a strong PB for Schitch.
Let's see what his PB is after this. See what RaceBot thinks it is.
43.39 is his PB right now. He's going to smash.
Well, the spoilers from RaceBot include what his old race PB is.
He's talking about his general PB that's on leaderboards.
Jveth's still making some good progress here.
Yeah, he's really come on, strong. Man. There it is. 42.27 on his program. What does RaceBot say?
RaceBot had his old PB as a 43.52. Has this as a 42.29. So a 1-2-3 race PB.
Nice. And an actual PB too.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well done. He played really well throughout. Very solid for his skill set. He played really well.
And like you said, he came to play. Not that Jveth didn't, just ran into a few unfortunate incidents, but nice run from Schitch.
Yes, he just left his best play on his PB earlier today. He had like a 3-minute PB earlier today.
Sometimes you just kind of get those huge PBs and you're not sure where they came from.
Yeah.
And those are the hardest ones to reproduce. There have been some Mega Man games I've gotten a minute or 2 PBs in, and it took months before I even got close to them again. Jveth unfortunately unable to take down the Pinbot with the 1 cycle. No problem with the Rush Jet backup though. Can we explain this quick kill? So the first half is exactly what it seems. Hit him with Shadow Blades. Let's see what Jveth even does here. So if you remember the Mega Man clone fight, when you fire Rush Jet or Rush Coil bullets and pause, that's one of the few weapons in the game you can actually pause and switch weapons. When you switch weapons, those bullets kind of take on the damage property of the weapon you switch to. So in this case, Jveth basically shot Gamma with top spin. And it happens he's weak against top spin, so that's that. Actually works anywhere in the game. This is just one of the few places it's useful.
B for Jveth?
Sorry?
Is that a B for Jveth?
It's a race PB, not an actual PB.
Yeah. Like 40 something.
Mm-hmm.
Like 40,
RaceBot's saying it's like a minute 15-second race PB. Jveth saying he's 4 minutes over his actual PB and a few seconds, so he should have a 40.06 as a true PB.
Day. So you're on the Mega Man leaderboards, 40.05 according to that. Done on 220. 17. So yeah, that was Hitch played really well. That's a really good win for him, I think.
Yeah, Hitch played well, and I think, like you said, he's kind of taking to this game quickly.
Let's see. Let me look here. PB for Jveth.
Yeah, Hitch only has 2 posted times here. One undated, the other from this month. So this might be the beginning of a strong speedrunning career for Hitch.
Jveth had against Triwave had a 46.04, and against Asimov had a 46.04. Tournament PB for Jveth.
That's good to lower the time still. Keep bringing that down.
Yeah.
Should be a tournament PB for Hitch as well, because he has a 48 of 43, and, well, this is an actual PB, so there you go.
Yeah, I think I saw the 43.52. That was a good match for him. All right.
When is sub 40?
Yeah, when is sub 40?
Come on, man.
Nothing is good enough. Nothing is ever good enough in speedrunning. It's like, when's the next milestone? Go, go, go.
We all look at Fasta and say, when's 32, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or when is he going to be within 10 seconds of his sum of best? You know, things like that. That's what's great about these tournaments is that, you know, you'll have a winner and all, but there's always a lot of personal goals you can try to achieve from entering them and just try to improve your time or get into speedrunning a game you've never really considered speedrunning before.
Mm-hmm. So, thinking about the mathematics of this group again.
Wait, what was his time again? What was Hitch's time?
Hitch's time, RaceBot gave him a 42.29.
To improve it, if he's going to get out of the... Because, well, no, he's going to improve it, I think.
That's what I've been kind of like wondering about, because I know it's posted as the first PB is just the first tiebreaker after just record within the pool, and then head-to-head sweep against everybody else you're tied with. I think it's posted as PB. I think it's highly doubtful he'll get down there or otherwise tie it. I don't know if average is after that. I think average is being used for seeding. That's a question for another chat room, I guess.
Yeah. Suppose he has a good chance. He has a chance of finishing. If there's a small chance he could finish third in the group.
So at this point, it's still technically possible, I think, to get into a tie for second, which would require MCAN to lose to Hitch and Jveth, which is, according to the odds, pretty unlikely. MCAN has a 35 posted in the tournament already. Second
one was 36, so it's
so
unlikely.
If he goes up to 38 and Hitch gets another 4-minute PB and comes down to 38, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. All right, they got other stuff going on, don't they?
Need to check on that. I think there's actually some Shovel Knight on the way.
That's on SRL, so I think this is done for the night. here.
I don't know, Feasel, do we have anything? Yo!
Oh, it's finishing up. Okay.
Is this finishing up, or is this that's a practice run we're seeing from Tolu? Yeah.
All right.
Looking at the calendar, and I see that beautiful orange block that says a race is about to start. So, orange for me anyway. So thanks for helping out, Darkwing.
What was that?
Covering for me to get a drink after that Mega Man X2 race.
That's this is always fun to do. I enjoy doing the commentary. It's nice to have people come in and help out and deal with my general non-knowledge of the game. That's why I asked so many questions.
This was kind of interesting because it was like it was the more conversational commentary, which is always fun.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Tolu and Speed Frog, so I'll ask you the exact same thing I asked the Mega Man X2 runners that didn't know anything about Mega Man 3. Who you got in this race?
Me? Oh, I don't have any idea. Let's see. Well, when I was watching it earlier and waiting for the Mega Man 3 to start earlier, the person on the left, well, in the Mega Man X2 tournament, lost. So I'll go with the person on the right, which is Speed Frog.
Speed Frog does have speed in his name, so
yeah,
I don't see how you could go against that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's it for Mega Man 3. Thanks again, Feasel, for all the restream work.
And we'll see Mega Man 3 again on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
And then Ori. All right. Thanks, everybody.